Good evening, this is Karen with Karen's Cards and More, and welcome to tonight's Stamp and Share. I did move it up a little bit tonight. Instead of our normal 7 o'clock time, I moved it to 5 o'clock, and I appreciate all of you that have joined me with the change in time. Tonight's my anniversary, so we're probably going out to dinner, so that's why I moved it up tonight. So let's get right in. So tonight is kind of mystery night. The other 3 weeks of this month, we had a planned project, but for tonight, I just wanted to do another project to show you something else you could do with this month's featured stamp and die set. So this month, the month of June, we featured the Handsomely Suited stamp set and the suit and tie die set that coordinates with it. And we've done some really cool things with that. So tonight I'm going to show you even another card that you can do with this unique set. And I love this card. I sat down and started creating it. And this is the first one I had done using the suspenders. And oh, it is so cute. I don't know which I like more, doing a suit or a tux look, doing a dress for a lady, or doing this suspender look. I just love the way the suspenders come out. And this has the hidden greeting. So when you open it up, there's your greeting. So that's what we're gonna make tonight. I just love this set. Before we get into the card, I do want to announce that next Monday, July 5th, I will not be having Stamp and Share. So I apologize for that, but I will not be able to do next Monday night. But then we'll pick up with the 12th, and that's in the announcements for the July Stamp and Shares. It's there that there was a date change. And also by the end of the week, I will have posted the projects for August Stamp and Share. So you'll definitely want to watch the announcements for that so that you can order the supplies you'll need for that. If you place a $50 order, you'll get the kits for free. So definitely check that out in the Facebook page or the Facebook group. By the end of the week, I'll have the projects for August posted. Okay, so let's get right into this card. So we're going to be using Night of Navy as our feature color tonight. So let's talk about what you need. This is such a fun card and it's so cute. I don't know any guy that wouldn't love to get this cute little card. And you could easily make it look like a suit rather than the suspender look if you choose. So just really cute die set. So let's talk about the papers. So you're going to want to start with a card base. This is the Night of Navy, and this is 6 3/8 by 5 1/2, and then I scored at 2 1/8. So one panel is going to be our normal 5 1/2 by 4 1/4, and then you're going to have a half panel. Okay, so the whole thing is 6 3/8 by 5 1/2. Score at 2 1/8. Then you're going to need another panel of the Night of Navy that's 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. And then you're going to need some designer series paper, and this is going to be your mat for the front and for the inside. And I'm using, this is from the In Good Taste designer series paper. You'll need a piece that is 2 by 5 1/4. And one that's 4 by 5 1/4. And then you're going to need a piece of basic white that is 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. That's going to be where our greeting goes. And then you're going to need a piece of designer series paper for your shirt. Now the one I'm using is from the designer series paper that comes in the 6 by 6, and you can order it for neutral or you can order it for regal, whichever that you choose. Mine is the neutral, and this is the Night of Navy, and there's different patterns that you could use. Okay, so this is the pattern I chose. You could choose any one of the patterns that are in there. Here's the back side, another pattern if you choose that. But I liked this one. It was kind of just a neat neat look that I liked. Now, in addition to this piece out of the same pattern, let me bring in the dies so I can show you. There's this die that is going to make the collar. So you're going to want to die cut one of those out of your same designer series paper that you're using for the shirt. And then you're also going to need, I know this is really a pocket, but cut 2 of those out of the designer series paper that your shirt is made of, because that is what we're going to use to make our sleeves. So cut 2 of the pockets. Then, and let me show you those. So here I have these. What's really cool about these is they have the faux stitching on them. So you'll have that on the arm hole of your sleeve. So really cool. I like that effect. So then in addition to that, this long rectangular, skinny rectangular piece, that's your suspenders. So you're going to need to cut 2 of those for your suspenders, and I'm using black. You could do whatever color you want. I'm using black. And then one last piece that you need to die cut, and the set comes with 2 of these. So you'll want to cut out 2 of, and I'm using the silver metallic cardstock, and you'll need 2 of those to make the clips of your suspenders, okay? So that's the pieces that we're gonna need. And then from the stamp set, the only stamp that we're using tonight is Happy Birthday to You. You could very easily change this up. You could say, you're the best, thank you, world's greatest dad, whatever you wanted to change it up to, or you could totally pick a sentiment from another set. If you wanted to change it, you can make it a good get well card or anything you wanted to do. But I'm using the Happy Birthday to You greeting tonight. Okay, so let's get started with the card. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to bring in our card base, and we're going to add these pieces of the designer series paper to the card base. And one thing about when you score, and I don't know if I can get this to show on camera, but there's one side of the score that's indented, and the flip side is the raised. And because of the way the scoring breaks down the cardstock, the paper, fold towards the raised part. In other words, the raised part should be on the inside of your fold, okay? Like that. All right, so I'm gonna open this back up for a moment because we're gonna add our papers on there. So this is our front, so we need to add this to the front, okay? So I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Seal, and I'm just going to put some on the back of this. This is a very easy card to put together, but yet it's so cute. So then I'm just going to line this up, try to get it straight. Okay. And then I'm just going to open it up, and we're going to put this piece on the inside. So I'm just going to put my Stampin' Seal on the back of this. Now, I do close it to try to get a guide for where I want to put it, because this is going to show like this. So I want it to be semi-lined up. So I'm going to just put this like this. Press that down. And the base of our card is ready to go. Now the other piece of Night of Navy is going to go on here, and that's going to be the backing for our shirt. The designer series paper is thin, and if you just try to do it without the cardstock backing, it's just going to be a little flimsy. So I wanted to have that base to give it a little stability. Now, what I would recommend for this, because of when we work with our sleeves, trying to get the placement so your sleeves are on your card, we're gonna go ahead and adhere our base piece, okay? So you wanna put adhesive only on half. If you put it on the whole piece and then put this down, you're gonna tape your card shut and it won't open. So we wanna only put it on one half of the Night of Navy cardstock piece. So let's go ahead and put our adhesive on there, okay? And then I'm just going to eyeball where I want this and press that down. Now we're going to work on our shirt. Okay, so the first thing, let's talk about our sleeves, because that's really the hardest part of this project. So what I did is put my glue on the point, like if you're looking at this as a pocket, you have a point here. And so that's going to be the top of my sleeve that you're not going to see. But I want to position it so my sleeve's not sticking out of my card. So I need to position my sleeve so it's staying within the card base, okay? So I'm just playing with it and figuring it out, and that looks pretty good. So depending on how you put this in here will depend how far in you've got to put that piece, okay? So I'm going to bring in my liquid glue for this. That way I have a little bit of play time to move it. And I'm just going to put some liquid glue on the pointed end of the pocket. And I can always add more once I get this placed if I need more. So I'm going to hold this right in place on top of our mat. And I'm going to slide this in using the mat as a guide, because I know that I need this piece in the mat and I also want it in the card. So I'm just going to slide it where I want it and put that piece down and press down. Okay? So now we know that one's set. It's going to be within the card. Now, if you want it to stick out past the card base, you could definitely do that, but I wanted mine to fit in a traditional envelope, so that's why I did it this way. So then I'm just going to add some more glue on the other pocket. And we're just going to do the same thing, only this time we need to keep in mind the edge of the card, but we also need to keep in mind the angle of the other sleeve, because we want our sleeves to match, right? We don't want to have mismatched arms. So I'm just going to hold that in place. And I'm just going to eyeball it. And I know that's got to go in more. And I can always add more glue if I need to add more glue. And I'm going to put that down. I think that needs to go a little bit more. And see how it's sticking out? I don't want it to stick out, so I need to go in some more. And I'm just trying to make sure that looks pretty lined up right there. Okay, so I'm going to press it down. Now we're just going to take this off of the mat. We were just using that to line it up. And you can lift up your sleeve and see if you need more glue. Remember, we're still going to be tacking this down to the mat, so as long as they're on there, you'll be okay. So the next thing that we want to do is we want to make our suspenders. And you'll notice when you die cut this, you'll be able to tell that the front from the back of the suspenders by the stitching, okay? So I'm just going to bring in, you can use your Stampin' Seal, you can use your liquid glue. I'm just going to run one line of Stampin' Seal down my suspenders. and I'm going to line it at the top. And in this case, I have the pattern, so I kind of want to keep it the same. I'm going to watch the pattern to make sure I'm getting it somewhat straight, right? Because I want my suspenders to be straight. And I'm going to press that down, and I'm going to do the same thing with the other suspender. It's going to hang off the bottom of the shirt, but that's okay. We're going to trim it. Okay? And then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going equidistance from the edge. So I want to kind of notice how much of the edge I have so I can get my suspenders lined up. And I'm going to press that down. And then I'm going to turn these over and I'm just going to trim off the excess. Just trim that like that. Okay. Now I'm going to come in with my collar. Now, if you wanted your suspenders to be on top of your collar, you could do that. I thought it looked more, it would be more natural to have the collar over top of the suspenders. So that's the way I'm doing mine. So I'm just going to add some liquid glue. I will tell you this, the connection between the two pieces to the collar is pretty thin. So you want to be a little bit gentle with that. If not, you'll end up ripping your collar in two. You could still use the two pieces, but I would recommend just take note of that and be a little careful when you're handling it, because if you pull too hard on it, you will rip it, okay? So the point goes down and the flat part goes to the top of your shirt. And I'm just going to press that down. And so there you can see my collar is on top of my suspenders, okay? And then I'm gonna come in with my little metal piece, what's my pretend metal pieces, right? Cut out of my silver metallic cardstock. Say that 3 times fast. Put some liquid glue on there. And this is just eyeball it wherever you want your suspenders. The only thing is that they're even with one another. You can make them high, you could make them low, however you want your suspenders to look. Put some glue on the other piece. And I'm just going to even this up. And press down. And I have my suspenders done. Okay, I'm gonna set that aside just for a moment and just let it dry a little bit while I bring in my basic white piece. We might as well go ahead and stamp our greeting. And I'm just using black memento for this. And I have my greeting here. And I'm just going to ink that up. And I'm just putting mine in the middle. If you wanted to have more room to write, you could put it towards the top. I'm just going to put mine in the middle. And hopefully not get my head in the camera while I'm trying to get this even. Okay, there I have my greeting. And you'll see how we're gonna put that on so that we can make sure it's hidden in just a moment. So I'm gonna bring in my little shirt piece again, and I'm just gonna add Stampin' Seal to the back of my shirt. And then we just want to line it up with the Night of Navy mat that we already have in place. So we're just going to line that up on there and press it down. And there we have our shirt. Okay, now for the next part, what I do is I open it up You want to note which way your greeting is so that you can turn this correctly. And I'm going to put my Stampin' Seal on the back. Get my adhesive on here and ready. And I'm going to lay it with the adhesive side up right behind my shirt, right behind that Night of Navy matte piece. And I'm just going to lay it on there, make sure it's straight with your Night of Navy piece. And and you don't want to be too rough with this, because if you move it too much, you're going to make it shift, and then it won't be straight on your cardstock piece. And I'm just going to carefully fold this over and give it a rub. And that's going to make sure my greeting is behind my shirt and not sticking out one side or the other. It's directly behind it. You could make the white piece a little bit smaller if you wanted to, but you really don't have to. By doing that, it lines it up perfectly and it's perfectly hidden. There you go. It's that easy. And then there you have the cute little shirt. I think of a little boy opening this for a birthday, and I think they would just go crazy. They would just love it. I think men of any age would love it. So I hope you've enjoyed this. You could easily decorate this as a dress or a woman's polo or a button-up Oxford shirt for a woman. You could make it look like a dress. If you haven't checked out my video where I did the wedding card, check that out, because you can see how you can make it to look like a formal dress. So that easy. You have a wonderful, cute card using the same set we've been using all month long. So I hope you'll play with this. I hope you'll give it a try. And so the next time we'll be together is July 12th, and we'll be moving to our next set that we're going to feature, and that's the pansies. So Pansy Patch Suite. So you definitely want to be here for that. Got some really cute projects lined up, and I'll look forward to crafting again with you soon.